So here I would welcome Professor Chungkham Yashwant Singh to talk on, yes, I forgot, issues and challenging, actually least written languages of Manipur.
My credit goes to Professor Anpita Abi for inviting me in this festival. I don't have the laptop and the others, I use the handouts. From the linguistic point of view, Manipur can be treated as a mini India. Three different language families interact with each other in a small Indo-Burma border town, More. In this small town, three language families, namely Indo-Aryan, Punjabi, Hindi, Tibeto-Burman, Meitei, Thado, Paite, Mar, and Dravidian Tamil, who came from Myanmar in early 1960s during the army rule, are interacting with each other every day. In my handout, there are some mistakes, so let us do correction with me. The state of the Manipur has 5 hill districts and 4 valley districts, to which has a total geographical area of 22,327 square kilometers, with a population of 28 lakhs 66 and 791, where 31 recognized mother tongues in the state. In my least written languages of Manipur, I have taken 8 languages. In that, very few, I have to say, having the one, say written one, that in the song, then in that way I analyzed and see that languages having in that mother tongue is 8. So I'm just taking up one by one. Karam has 1,000 population and it has only one book. It is a folk song entitled Tutbul La. Tutbul is the folk and La is the song. The youth and the school children wanted to read novel, poetry, short stories, but it is unfortunate moment. It is obvious also that there are no primers for introducing the very mother tongue in the school. Karam speaker read books written in English. There is no Karam literary society when most of the groups they have the literary societies. The second one is Purum. The Purum population is only 503 according to 2001 census, and it has only 2 books, though there is a PhD thesis on the Purum grammar. There are Trila, that is the Purum folk song. 3 is the folk and the La is the song. Like the Karam people, the Purum reads books written in English, and they also know Kom, one community, and that was very much publicized in the Bible and the others. They read the daily newspaper, namely the Shanghai Express, the Imphal Free Press, publicity in Imphal. They also read the newspaper of Manipuri edition. They do not have the Purum Literary Society, and Purum is not introduced even in the primary level. The third one is Chiru. The number of the Chiru speaker is around 5,487, and which has only 2 song books. They are of the hymns written by a reverend. They are Big Na La. The first book was revised and published in 1998 with edition of 350 to 512 pages. The community has no primers for the lower class as well as has no literary society. The reason responsible for least written in is of the less population and no settled in a concentrated area. Koireng, one another community. The nomenclature Koireng has the various names called by the various groups. The named Koireng is named by the Meitei. Koireng, it is said, is the original name, while the Kuki-Chin named them as called Ren. The Meitei has no LH aspirated phoneme. They cannot pronounce the sound like, just like me, I can't pronounce the L aspirated and the P aspirated L to what Razazi's Rastogi say in the Razi dialect. Then the book written in their language is very poor. It has only 3 books, story chapter, entitled as Thuruming Tang by J.T. Tang Chong. In 1992, the rupees is 20 only. The second quantity is hymns named Mokna La, church song, Koireng the Baptist Church unit, published in 1987. The third quantity is Tiana Koren Nun Chan. In translation, it is Old Nature of Koireng Women by the same author in 1995. It has only 6 copies. Once there was a daily newspaper called Chongtha, edited by R. Yangso Song Koireng. It was circulated for 2 years. R. Rangso Song Koireng is a social activist. The daily newspaper cannot be sustained longer, or because the people are poor. They subscribed to the Shanghai Express or the Imphal Free Press published in Imphal. They read Manipuri daily newspaper also. One very interesting to the point and supposed to be encouraged is to make the continue the publication of the daily newspaper Chongthar. The Koireng is the only one community published newspaper, though it cannot continue longer. Born and dead before the mature, the buried newspaper Tarao another community. The population is small, say 600 only. The Tarao has literary society called Tarao Literary Society. In one way, the community has not enough production of work. It has only 4 books. There are, one is mythology, Tarao Thamin Iruza by Timje Kung in 1985. Page is 70 only, rupees 50. Another is dictionary, Tarao to English dictionary in 1993. And only the 3 copies. This is only, it has only 3 copies. There is no the daily newspaper as spelled as it is not introduced in the school. The number of the speaker is a factor for production of the book. Another community is Monsang. The Monsang has literary society called the Monsang Literary Society. The population is only 1,635. They have no daily newspaper, but they love to read books. They have the habit of reading. They read newspaper, namely, that is the Manipuri edition, Pokna Farm, as well as the English medium Shanghai Express, the Imphal Free Press, etc. It is not introduced in the school. Another community is Moyon. Though the population is very small, that is 1,710, the Moyon has literary society named as Moyon Literature Society. They have only 6 books. Of these, 3 are of the song books, hymns, then dictionary, etc. The first book is Lam Suar Asa, written by the Mon Timur Bur in 1977, rupees is 20. Donald Kosa, who wrote the 5 books on the various aspects of the 6 books, Donald Kosa, is the first person who got the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and his second book is Afu, Thang Nang, Chungwei. The third quantity is Buzur Tunala. It is collection of the folk song. The fourth is Tia Sia Kiche, Moyon archaic words. It is a dictionary. The sixth quantity is his thesis, the Moyon. It is unpublished thesis. Besides this, Donald Cossata wrote folk songs. It is Kuong La, Moyon traditional folk song. There is neither the daily newspaper, nor magazine, etc. They read newspaper like the Impal Free Press and the Shanghai Express and the Manipuri edition also. Discussion. These seven communities are the group that having the least written books or monographs in their mother tongues. They do not have the daily newspaper and the magazine. The Koirengti is the only community which had a newspaper called Chongtar with a short life, 2 years, 1996 and 1998. Various reasons responsible for having least booked in each communities are in the following. The first point is population. Number of the speaker of these above the communities are very small, to less than 5,500. The Purum and the Tarau are less than 1,000. While the Analti is below 14,000. Ethnic wise, the Thado is the biggest population. It is 1,15,045 and has 584 books on the various aspects: folk song, hymns, literature, social studies, primer, dictionary, etc. The second biggest population is Tangkhul. It is 1,12,944. It has only 57 books on folk song, hymns, literature, primer, dictionary, etc. Tangkhul has only 57 books, but they have a very educated, the rate of the literate also very high, but they have the varieties of Tangkhul, local varieties. It is in Ukhrul. This is one district. It has more than 200 villages, but each village has its own dialect. It is mutually unintelligible. That may be one of the reasons of the having the, 57 books only. So for water, that is in Zadong, I just backed from the fieldwork. Then I just find water is Itcha. So in the Tangkhul standard one, that water is called as Tara. Then Choitar, Hundung, and others, that is Tir also, Ir also, and the Tira also. Because of the data, I think there is the less booked in this community. Then the Paite population is 44,861, but produced the highest number of the books, that is 980. It is on the various aspects of the literature: novel, drama, poetry, essay, translation, in short. It is offered in the graduation. The market has 366 books, of which the population is 42,690. It is introduced in the graduation. The Wi-Fi has 237 books, while the population is 27,791. The Zhou has 323 books, while the population is 19,112. Second reason is education. Education and the writers are needed in the various societies. Mostly, the students go to the very specific areas, that is technical section, medical, or engineering. And these are the top priority. One, while another is appeared or to get a civil service. The educated people are not aware of the. Yes, coming. Yeah. Then another reason is the script. Then Then another quantity is the psychological feeling. Then another quantity is no marketing, population is very less. Then another is no speciality. Then another one is the language, English becomes the killer to the society. The conclusion is, it is a sin that writing into these written languages that are of the hymn song, literature or the oral records that are far behind the knowledge the commission is established in 2006. Its objective is to introduce the scientific knowledge in all the fields, that is for the development of the society. The commission to put forward the concept of the knowledge text, that is to make the available the text into all the mother tongues, to make the conceptualization and to introduce the scientific concept and terms in the mother tongue is necessary to make the aware of the idea to the people and to arouse the educated person of the various communities to start writing something in the mother tongue, primers or folk song, tales like this. Then the NGO or the Tribal Research Institute should take up some initiative to start writing or to make the documentation for these communities. It can be also said that it is a step to prevent the process of extinction. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Professor Avdesh.
Namaskar. My topic is overview of unwritten languages, but if they are unwritten, there can't be an overview. So I am going to have overview of the written languages, and whatever is not covered will be for unwritten languages. Okay. You know, the previous speakers have already mentioned so many, we have languages according to official census, and there we mentioned 234 languages and mother tongues, those spoken by more than 10,000 persons each, and the remaining ones are called mother tongues, although there are some languages because they are spoken by fewer than 10,000 persons. And although it's written in Census of India in the preamble that they do not say what is language, which mother tongue is language and which mother tongue is not a language. It is left open. So every mother tongue can be a language and every language can be a mother tongue. And we have example there that you'll see the 22 scheduled languages, Hindi is one language, and then we have 48 mother tongues where Hindi is also there, Khadi Bolo is also there. You will have Bengali, and there you will find Chakma, Rajbangshi and others. So then Bengali also is a mother tongue. So that we have to keep in mind. Now the question comes that what are the unwritten languages? So as I have found working on many languages, and I have published one book, a lot of data is there, and most of the data comes from there only. So we have officially 117 languages. They may be mother tongues because they are not recorded in census, some of them. Like Adivasi Odia is not there either in schedule or non-schedule, but Adivasi Odia is taught as a language in Odisha, things like that. So we have 117 languages and mother tongues used in schools as subject of instruction. Then we have 40 languages and mother tongues used as medium of instruction. So all these 117 plus 40, they do have scripts. They are written because they are used in school education. So they naturally will have scripts, and there are only 34 scripts that are used for all these 117 plus 40, 157 languages and mother tongues, and only few use say one language, one script situation exists for only 8 or 9 languages. The others you will find, like Devanagari is used for Nepali, Maithili, Bhojpuri, Hindi, even Marathi. Similarly, you will find that Roman is used for many of the languages of Northeast. So Paite, Waifei, Kom, or in Manipur. Then Mizo, Khasi, Garo, all these are using Roman script. And there are languages in Sikkim. There are 11 languages that are used in school in Sikkim, and most of them are have speakers less than even 1,000. and only 5 are spoken by more than 10,000 speakers, but all are taught in schools, and they have separate scripts. So in Northeast you will find Assamese, of course, has Assamese, Bodo has Devanagari, Bengali in Bengali, Nepali in Devanagari. Then Sadri, Assamese, Vishnupriya Manipuri uses 2 scripts, Assamese and Bengali. So in Tripura they use Bengali, in Assam, in Barak Valley they use Bengali, in other places they have newspapers also, which will be published in the Assamese scripts. Then we have Thai Ahom, so they use Ahom script that is used in school in Assam. Dimasa uses multiple scripts, Assamese, Bengali, Devanagari, and now Roman has also been added. In Tripura we have Chakma used in school. Chakma was written in Bengali, but recently they have started to write in Roman as well. Then we have Halam Kuki, Halam, they use only Roman. Kokbarak is there in Tripura. They used to write in Kokbarak Bengali script, but now the government has agreed to allow them to use the Roman script. So they are using it. Meghalaya we have only Khasi and Garo in school, both use Roman. Arunachal we have 8 languages taught in school. So Khamti uses Liktai, the samples you can see there. Then Monpa uses Bhoti, the Tibetan script, and others use the Roman script. Even Adi, Nishi, Galo, they are used in school, but they use the Roman script. Sikkim, as I mentioned, we have 11 languages. There Nepali uses Devanagari, Lepcha uses Loig or Rong script, Limbu uses Sirijonga, Mangar uses Akha or Akharika, Nevari, they have 3 scripts they used to have, but now they have come down to only 1, and that is Prachalit, a modified variety of Devanagari script. They are not using Ranjana and other old scripts. Then we have Rai. Rai uses Kirat or Kirawa Chap script. Sherpa uses Sambota, which is also a variety based on the Tibetan script. Sunuwar or Mukhya uses Koich Breshe. Gurung uses Samboti, again a script based on Tibetan. Then Tamang uses Tamig, that is also based on the Tibetan script. And now the last, Nagaland and Mizoram. Nagaland, as you know, all 17 languages, tribal languages, they are used in school education in primary classes, and they all use Roman script. In Mizoram, we have 3 languages used in schools, and all 3, Mizo, Lakher, Mara, Paui, they all use Roman script. And in the other parts of India, Odisha has, until last year, it used to have 10 languages in schools, other than Odia, English, Hindi, but now Dr. Mahendra Mishra has informed me that they have added 11 more, and all 21 are using the Odia script in Odisha. In Andhra, we have 10 languages used in school, other than Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, English and Hindi, and they all use Odia script. In Tamil Nadu, only Tamil and English are used, and some private schools, Hindi is also used. So we have only one script, Tamil, there for all the languages. And central India, you will find that in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, we have in all 6 languages taught in schools right now, and some are so-called varieties or mother tongues. You will find Surguzia, Baiga is also taught, Chhattisgarhi is taught. So including all these, we have 6, and they all use Devanagari script. So that is the overall picture, that 157 languages and mother tongues that we use in India, they in all use only 34 scripts. Now coming to the Samvad, the discussion, the topic for that, I'll throw some questions and also some ideas what needs to be done. The problem is threefold. One is that there are languages which used to have a traditional script, and somehow they lost it, or they are not in use today. So what has to be done for that? And examples we have, one is from Kashmir, like Kashmiri and other languages also, once upon a time they were written in Sharda script, they were also written in Devanagari, and they are written in Perso-Arabic. Now there are people who don't understand, they can't read and write in Perso-Arabic script. So what can be done for them? The children that go to school and they are not so fluent and they cannot master the Perso-Arabic script because they are not fluent in Urdu. They speak Kashmiri even at home. And Sharda has become extinct, but then some identity, culture is associated with it. People want to bring back that script also. We have another classic example and problematic for the government. Nothing wrong in that. People have right to demand, but we have problem dealing with that particular situation is that of Santali. So what happens, like Santali is spoken in so many states and majority of them live in Bengal, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and some in Bihar. Now in West Bengal they used to have Bengali script for their language. In Jharkhand they still have Devanagari. In Odisha they used to write in Odia, but now there are groups which want that it should be written only in Old Chiki. And you can have a sample there of Old Chiki. The problem for linguists and educationists is that, see, we have to think from the point of view of children. They are not adults. They don't care. They don't worry about what will happen to the culture or identity or politics, which party wins or loses. So they are worried for that and their parents also. But we seem to forget that these demands. So there are situations like that in many other languages as well. I have given here two examples of Koya and Gondi. Now there you talk to people, I have done that in course of my research. They are happy with the Telugu script in Andhra Pradesh and Gondis are happy in Devanagari. They write lot. The native speakers in Devanagari script, they have not heard of this alternative Koya Gondi script for them. So only a handful of people know that, and now there is demand that it should be recognized like Old Chiki, the official script for Gondi language. So all this is going to create a problem. But then, of course, we don't have to forget, or we cannot afford to forget, that people do associate their culture and identity with a particular script. But then looking at why do we want to have so many scripts and what is the purpose of script. So my colleagues have already explained it, and one thing that was left out is that script, they said that it gives permanence to language. True, you can have records and then you can build a literature on it, but then the danger there is that the moment you give a script to school, to a language, then the tendency is to make that language artificial. We all know the examples of Hindi, Gujarati, at least two I have seen, and Hindi is famous. The way we speak Hindi at home, the Maghi speakers, the Bhojpuri speakers, or any dialect speakers or mother tongue speakers, the moment book is given, it will be like the Hindi of, say, Sumitra Nandan Pant or Tulsidas and Surdas only. So that also creates a problem in school education, and this is one of the reasons that the children, the younger generation, don't feel good about studying their language in school. It has become something like study it and get some marks, good marks, and pass the exam. So that also is contributing to the attrition of various mother tongues. So what my suggestion is that we need to sit together. They have already outlined, UNESCO has a policy and they have given guidelines that who need to be there in the committee when you are going to have a new script or you are going to modify a script, who should be there. So whole list is there. So linguists will be there, then illiterate and literate persons, the mother tongue speakers, old, young, women, men, all will be there. So that is the need of the hour, that if you leave it to the literary societies, they are going to ruin it. And we have examples I can quote. Galo recently in Arunachal Pradesh, they devised the modified Roman script for their language, and that is based on IPA, not on Roman, IPA, and they have added so many diacritic marks. It's difficult even for, if Pike were himself here, he would have difficulty reading it. Sound you can describe, that these are consonants, vowels, few words you can write, no problem. But if you are given a book, and that too book is given to a 5 or 6 year old child, it's really difficult to, for her to understand. So problem like this needs to be settled. So, and we also have example of the research done by Pratham, and you know that in all the states, at least 30 to 55% of the children in class 2 and 3, they can't read in their mother tongue also. And one of the reasons is that there is so much of difference between the spoken language, the language that they speak at home or mother tongue, and the kind of script or the orthography or the material that we write through these scripts. So that creates a big problem for them. So if we really want to solve this problem or help the society in revitalize their languages, preserve their languages, then this issue is important, that what kind of material will go and what kind of orthography. The script is not a problem. It can be chosen, no problem. But then orthography situation. I'll add one more example. I did some work on my own Naga daughter, one of my children, adopted children, and she studies Hindi, English and Ao in school. Now she is in class 7, so there is no Ao, no mother tongue, only English and Hindi. Now see what has happened. In her book, the teacher is a Hindi speaker. He or she, they will make the children write each Hindi word in the book, everything in Devanagari, in Roman. And because these children, those who speak Ao, Angami, etc., they have been using Roman, so their Roman is different. Like there are certain sounds they don't have. There are like, or English doesn't have it, like S, or S, these sounds are not there, the U with 2 dots there. And vice versa, Hindi has certain sounds which these languages don't have. They write it in Roman. So Khana, she would write K-A-N-A, okay? So all Kha will be K, all D-H, Dharm, Dhan will be D-A-N, because she is used to writing Roman in a particular way in her mother tongue. So that dominates her brain, and she sees wherever there is Roman script, her own mother tongue influence comes there, and she would read as if it is the Ao language. So that happens in most of the languages wherever the Roman is used. So that needs to be taken care of, except 2, 3, they are very good example. We have Mizo and Khasi and Garo. They have solved this problem because they have been using the Roman script for long. But where the languages are new, meaning they have recently come to the field of education and fold of education, and if they have taken up a new script recently or they are going to have a new script, then these things need to be kept in mind and dealt with very carefully, thinking of what will happen to the education. And because I forgot to mention that, last sentence will be that once language becomes visible, that earns respect from the people. See, we have example of Bhojpuri. They don't care whether you give it in a schedule or what happens, but they are used everywhere. They don't care how they spell Hindi words, Sanskrit words in Devanagari, in Bhojpuri. You can spell the same word in 3, 4 different ways. Shorty, longy, they don't care for it much, the ordinary people. But their numbers have increased, the population, the language has developed so much. Now it has become a major language in mass media, the films, songs, newspapers, everything is there without any protection. So let's be guided by that example, that if a language becomes visible, if it's seen more and more domains, then the younger people, the children, they have more respect for it, they identify with it, and then they will use it, and in the long run will be able to conserve, preserve that language. So since I had little time, so I tried to pose some questions. So that's all I have to say for time being. Thank you.